Unless there's a whole bunch of shit I'm missing, Adept didn't give up any part of. She didn't even have a fucking career. She didn't give anything up to do anything for XQC. She just benefited. So that's just crazy. But this situation with Malena and Nick, Malena, it seems like she did invest quite a bit into Nick's career. So
also, she added NMPLOL.
Uh-oh. Why would Nick say this publicly? That's so stupid. If you don't know, you should just never comment publicly on your case if you think it'll. Even if you don't think, you just not say anything publicly. This was so stupid of him. I'm not a retard, okay? This right now, okay? Because this is all I care about.
Multi-millionaires who will still be a millionaire after divorce, or maybe not. According to his proposed divorce settlement, where he tries to convince the judge and likely tries to convince Malena too, that he's only worth about $1.7 million. Then he corrects the value to $1.66 million. But I'm no accountant, but both spreadsheets seem to have a $440,000 calculation error in his favor. And, once, you see it, it'll be completely obvious to you. Stick around to the end of the video. I'll repost his entire proposed divorce settlement spreadsheet, and maybe some accountant could look it over and fact check me if I'm right or wrong. Going back to Nick, it's safe to say he's just sympathy farming like Mizkif would do. If you ask Nora, who was mentioned in his divorce, she would say that there's really no difference between Mizkif and NMPLOL. She even pointed out that there's literally no difference between one of her followers going from Ms. Frog to NMP Frog.
From Denmark to US, what a downgrade. Oh, it was someone else's frog earlier, had to change. Oh my god, I see your picture, bro. I know what kind of frog you were before. Dude, you should have changed your name to Nora Frog 69. But I'm telling you, man, you're missing out. Because you really just switched from one to another. I'm telling you, you didn't help yourself, brother.
Speaking of Mizkif, he continues to troll everyone about the Imaru case.
Still no restraining order. What's it been, like 2.5 months? Interesting, right? Saying you're in the process of filing a restraining order with no intention of ever doing it is evil. Yeah.
So it's only fitting for Mizkif to finally enter the divorce of Malena and Nick Palome's filing, but I'm not sure it ever was really addressed, which was likely Nick's strategy considering the final trial date was rapidly approaching. I wonder if Malena knows who are the other owners of OTK, and I guess she knows how many shares that Nick has or they have, but what about the others? Because according to Nick's spreadsheet, he owns about 480,000 common shares, in which he hopes the judge will allow him to transfer 50% of those to Malena, and in the interim allow him to be the trustee for the Malena, as in to make decisions on the best interest of her and him for the company. What happens if she wants to sell those shares? That's a great question. Before we get into the divorce, let's address Asmongold coping with the fact that NMP's online reputation is trash.
Asmongold, I get, but NMP, everybody thinks that Nick is this bad, terrible person because he's had a couple of bad clips on LSF, but Nick has actually been a really nice guy to me. I've known him for years, and I think that really the Nick hate and stuff like that happens is, in my opinion, kind of...
Is there a link to the court docket?
Overdrawn.
The NMP and Asmongold hate is not the same. Asmongold is not encouraging his followers to brigade posts or argue on his behalf on Reddit and Twitter and 4chan. I imagine if some of his fans of Asmongold posted proof of them telling people to end their lives for calling him out, I don't think they would get a soldier tag. Maybe him or his mods would ban him if he actually ever sees it himself, but Nick sees it different. Nick rewards that behavior, like I said, with a soldier role in his Discord server. The NMP online hate is justified. He earned it. It went all the way back to when he threatened the LSF mods with his FBI connections.
Mods are now coming forward with evidence of Mizkif pressuring mods with his friends NMP, where NMP even threatened a mod that he had connected.
I remember this lady.
FBI, open the door, boom, 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 boom.
This is the same guy who thought joking about kids losing their life to a flood was edgy, and he only apologized because he got backlash. Nick is the type of guy to tell his audience there's no drama in his divorce.
But I can't say there's no fighting or anything. So if anyone's looking for fighting or drama, it's not there.
After he locked out his soon-to-be ex-wife of all their financial accounts.
Accusations!
Nick is the same guy out here saying he's happy to pay her half while intentionally dragging out the divorce process, refusing to share financial information about the accounts he owned, as well as ownership stake in OTK.
I'm thankful that I've made enough money in my life to handle paying lawyer fees.
Then he calculates what her half looks like, right? But he fails to incorporate two large accounts in the calculation that totals over $450,000 as part of their divorce settlement. He does not want to pay her anything, guys. He tanked their Twitch channel when he learned that half of the revenue was going to her.
Yeah, but that's still loser mindset, though. I gotta keep it a bucket. That is still loser mindset. 50% of something is at least something. Nothing is nothing at the end of the day. Okay? Bro, you guys and everybody was making jokes about my 50%. I knew I was never gonna lose that because there was no claim for marriage in my case, and I knew for a fact. But even then, it's still a thought that was looming that wait, I could be right now, I could be working for somebody else technically if that were to go through or whatever. And it didn't matter.
Can I just say how much I love Queens online? I will make this statement. What Adept is the name. What Adept tried to do to XQC is worse than rape. 100%. And anybody that disagrees with me, I don't give a fuck. That is insane. That she thought that she could just try to fucking scam 50% of this guy's net worth and every fucking bitch on the fucking planet. I'm just kidding. I'm sorry. We love women. But oh my God, the yes queening is insane to me that nobody had shit to say about any of that. That's crazy. White women power is not to be underestimated, okay?
Still there when well then I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna show up and I'm not gonna do my thing. that's like loser mindset. Doesn't matter. I'm still being productive. I'm still acquiring experience. I'm still doing something that matters. That's building towards a goal. You can chunk. It doesn't. You can chunk half of a golden egg. Okay, but you can't chunk half of a golden goose. Okay.
Did you lose any money on your divorce? I think I paid $1,000 for the divorce lawyer. No, not really. No. But me and Malena worked separately. I don't have any problem conceptually with things like alimony or anything like that. Like if Malena would have stopped streaming to take care of me full time or to be a house taker or whatever, like there would have been some payout afterwards for me to her, which that's fine. It makes sense, right? If she's going to give up her whole streaming career, but she didn't. She's still streaming to everything else. Unless there's a whole bunch of shit I'm missing. Adept didn't give up any part of. She didn't even have a fucking career. She didn't give anything up to do anything for XQC. She just benefited. So that's just crazy. But this situation with Malena and Nick, Malena seems like she did invest quite a bit into Nick's career. So
unless the golden goose stops being the golden goose. Hey, hold on.
This came off the heels of him talking about how he was going to be streaming more to pay for the divorce.
Yeah, the weird Adept accusations against XQC and everything too about the night terror, rape and everything. I don't know. That was just God. Oh my God, this is fucking crazy. Was Adept claiming she was married or some weird law? I think basically once they broke up, Adept filed for divorce. And I was like, wait a second, what? And the claim was, well, technically we were common law married. And then that's what the fight was over. Because if she could claim that they were common law married, then when they get divorced, she might be able to like claim some of his assets. It's just a crazy, it's just, yeah, wild. But still a more valid legal theory than the one Pixie's running with in her fraudulent court case against me. So, you know, base.
I'm getting a car for drifting.
Am I planning on getting a car for drifting? Oh, you haven't heard Jumpy. Yeah, we were pretty much out of,
Hi, Nick.
we lost like a whole bunch of money, 50%, and then, you know, we ditched for a while. So we kind of have to grind for like at least the next 6 months before we can even do anything.
He's the same guy asking for the case to be sealed so the audience don't see what Malena is saying in her divorce filings, as she amended her divorce petition 2 times right now. The second one, she accused him of wasting money on his girlfriend. It's catchy. I guess she's going to be Malena part 2 when they get married. I'm sure he's going to do a prenup. He agreed not to talk about the divorce online, but now people are seeing what's happening in his divorce. So
honestly, the elector scheme is more valid than Pixie's lawsuit. The most annoying thing about Pixie's lawsuit is that she knew her and Lauren De Laguna, and I say this with much higher confidence, seeing how much Pixie and Lauren are lying and hiding and rigging stuff in the background, illegally, by the way, that they knew when they filed that case initially that they had to flub those dates in order to make it work. I'm 100% confident that Pixie knew this, that she was lying from the very fucking start of this. That's why she sent me that message the night before on the 19th, where she did another fake suicide threat, where she's like, Steven, I need to know for sure. Are you positive that you didn't do anything else? Blah, blah, blah. Because if anything else leaks, I'm going to kill myself. And it's like, no, bitch. And she's like, oh, okay. And then she files a lawsuit with the dates swapped anyway so that she can make it fit with her statute. Shameless behavior. That's okay.
So he filed literally to remove the gag order. I didn't get a chance to cover this, but on November 14th, 2025, he literally applied to dissolve the temporary injunction that bars him from speaking, with hopes that the court dissolve the above.
It's truly been insane to read up and down how she literally faked most of the evidence supporting her. The sad thing is that it's all coming from Lauren De Laguna. The sad thing is how truly pathetic Pixie is. Do you know how much restraint it was to not tweet 3 weeks ago when the stupid cunt was on Twitter and she was like, oh, why don't they redact and uncensor the Epstein files? And it's like, bitch, you're trying to fucking get shit sealed in your own fucking court case to hide your own malicious behavior. You're the one fighting to seal everything. And you're mad that Trump won't release the Epstein files? Like, excuse me, shut the fuck up and sit down and go back to mommy and daddy paid law school, okay, for your 17th fucking degree, because you're never gonna have a real job anywhere in the real world that doesn't involve somebody taking care of you. Jesus Christ.
Of reference, temporary mutual injunction, or the alternative that the court can modify the same. He wants to talk about the case publicly. And since he can't do that, he's using people like his orbiters to modify the same. He wants...
What is this? Parties entered and agreed. Further, temporary order is attached here to hereby temporarily mutually enjoined as follows. Mutually enjoined from making any public statements, whether written, verbal, or visual, regarding the ongoing litigation and the parties' divorce. This is the public lawsuits relating to public figures is so fucking annoying. Because you can have your little minions do the work for you. This is one of the most annoying things about Pixie, and especially Lauren, because of how much she's willing to suck and fuck her way through every content creator in the background who said anything about this. That if you have little minions who are willing to do all the work for you and you don't, it's like, oh, well, I guess I can't comment on it. Well, you're not commenting on it. Yeah.
To talk about the case publicly. And since he can't do that, he's using people like his orbiters to talk about it, which we will get to.
When's Malena coming on the podcast? Oof. That'd be a spicy one. When she gets her half. I think she's going for more than half. I think I remember asking Nick specifically, can I ask her, say that? He's like, yeah, I think you can. I don't know. It's a tough thing. It's a legit court case, but I think it's coming to a close. Thank fucking God. Why would you say?
How fair was Henry covering your lawsuit? I have no idea. I don't remember.
Yeah,
the thing you have to remember is everything in a complaint, you can write anything you want in a complaint. It doesn't necessarily mean it's true. So if anybody caveated with that, then it's like, okay, whatever. But most people just accepted all of it as true because I need to be a rapist. The day I finally am one, guys. I'm just kidding.
I think Nick's trying to give her half, and she's been declining it. I don't know. It's complicated.
Asmongold trying to convince people that the people that hate him and NMP and Hassan for the same reason, that's simply not true.
On LSF hates Nick. I get why LSF hates Nick. Same way I get why they hate me or hate Hassan. I understand why, but this is one thing that a lot of like viewers might not understand is that the persona you see online is not the persona behind closed doors. It's exactly like he's a normal person, right? You won't get it because you don't know them. Yes, exactly. You don't actually know them.
They're all different and people dislike them for different reasons. Lastly, even Nick, right, admits to going through LSF to report posts that document his actions to LSF mods to try to find a loophole to get these same posts removed.
Do I know anyone else?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know them. Yeah, that's public knowledge.
Oh, okay.
But like it's simple because like the way it works on the website is they have like if you right click report, it gets put in a mod queue.
I see.
Okay, so if a post is up and they haven't cleaned out the mod queue for 3 hours, well then it's been up for 3 hours. So there's like rules on LSF. You can just read them. And if I see a post that is about me that violates one of the rules, you're damn right I can report that shit.
Okay.
For sure.
I remember, I didn't think you could, well, I guess you go through like the normal.
Well, no, it's not the normal. I'll be like, hey, look at this post. I report it. This is the rules I think it violates. You know.
No,
but the thing is, if it doesn't break the rules, they don't take it down.
Who cares if Nick is nice to Asmongold, his business partner and his friend, when he conducts himself like the insecure 12-year-old he is, mad at the world? Now look, I personally do not care for Asmongold's anecdotal testimony that Nick has been nice to him. Asmongold, I know you may be watching this not on stream, but Nick has not been so nice to me. He accused me of lying when he knows I'm just showing the same court docs that he receives that he sent out.
Listen, you guys call me an idiot for getting another lawyer to explain stuff, but you guys are the same people that listen to Henry Resilient and think he's telling the truth. Hello? Like, you call me the idiot? Look in the mirror.
Thank God XQC defended me, but I'm not even sure if that's enough. I have no idea what impact I have on people that I should have zero impact on.
Yeah, true.
But
true.
here it is, man.
Okay, well, according to Persec, Henry Resilient was fair.
Oh, yo, if you know, you know. If you know, you know.
You see it in 4K. My man Nick, my main man Nick, he's actually stressed out.
I don't think a lot of people know, actually.
He's trying to find happiness, and he knows it's not coming anytime soon. So what does he do?
In Malena, the I sounds like an E. In Malena, the E sounds like an A. Maybe. I actually could never pronounce Malena's name. So I'm pretty sure there's like 12 times on stream where I can't make, there's an E sound in Swedish. I just can't make the noise. It's like Malena. I can't do it. I can't. There's a weird, I don't know how they do it, but I can't actually pronounce it. I don't actually know how Malena, I think Malena might actually be pronounced Malena. I'm not one of, I don't even know. I don't know. Fuck these fucking Scandinavian names, okay?
Dude, he's lashing out on me. That's fine, man. I mean, I put up something. I got up.
Guys, this guy does a court review or whatever.
It really is not that different. It's very different. Okay? It's like me saying Z is not that different from S, but if you ask a Hispanic person to say a Z, say, no, Z, say, they can't do it, okay? Shut the fuck up.
And his commentary ends up impacting the case itself in some form or capacity, which I think is crazy to think about. Just by him looking at the docs on stream, it actually interferes with the process.
128 views. So I know he's gonna be like, hey, he couldn't even muster that many views. Shout out to Black Cat. Henry Resilient lives in his head rent free. Yes. Very true. Very true. Henry is Nick's boogeyman, and it's entertaining to watch. I wouldn't say I'm his boogeyman, but when a video drops about him, he knows like shit. He knows.
Guys, I don't agree with Nick, but I don't know what's up with him these days.
Speaking of XQC, he is right. I just read the court docs, and as a result, Nick is.
I will say though, one thing I don't like, maybe it's just not possible. All of these like legal court people end up, it becomes like very personal and like, I don't want to use the word snarker, but like drama-y. Like it's very obviously personal between Henry and Nick. Now I can understand Nick having personally negative feelings about it because you're going to be mad about anybody covering your court shit. But Henry is like very much personally invested as well, you know?
Trying his hardest to seal the court docs. Even right now, he's probably punching the air knowing his whole divorce settlement is public record and is about to be seen for the first time. Now, this could be a lesson for all you to learn from or why you probably should stay away from marriage.
Stay away from marriage, true.
According to Julia, NMP Orbiter doing shipping content with Mr. Arthur, NMP's divorce trial is over.
Congratulations, W's in the chat for Nick, because the court session trial, whatever you want to call it, is officially over. The divorce stuff is finally coming to a close. We are just waiting on the judge's, I guess, final verdict, I suppose.
Well, why are you hearing this from her and not from Nick? Remember, Nick is still prohibited from making public statements about the divorce, which he is hoping to overturn. He's likely to tell his closest orbiters what to say, what not to say, but that's where I come in, right? I will show you all the most relevant court docs that I have pertaining to it. And when they talked about the Escalade with the Starlink being for sale.
Cadillac Escalade 2023 equipped with a beautiful Starlink Generation 2 full size. It is no more. It is getting sunsetted very soon.
Yeah, that's about true. Now let's get into this case. So guys don't know, if you haven't been following, Malena did file a second amended petition for divorce, right? Now what is this? When she filed this is her saying, hey, she wants to change something. She actually filed a third amended petition for divorce, but we have to get it. So what changed from her first filing to her second filing? Well, this part right here. She's looking to get some benefits because she's innocent. Remember, she accused him of cheating. Also, we already know about her disparity of earning power based on him having a company and her not having anything for the most part. The nature of the property involved in the division. Waste. Waste is new. Waste is something we're going to have to talk about in a little bit more deeper detail.
I want to talk about what I think is an underutilized claim in Texas divorce cases. Often get asked from parties, and usually it's women, that if their husband is cheating or has been cheating, is there a way to get them an unequal division of the assets, meaning that they think I should get more because he's a cheater. Adultery alone is not a reason for an unequal division of the assets, so my answer is usually no. But what I think is very underutilized is a waste claim. You can make a waste claim if your husband has been spending assets unbeknownst to you on a mistress. So X takes his mistress to Tahiti, and that's something that you can make a claim for and get your half back. Women need to know that.
Also, she added NMPLOL.
Why would Nick say this publicly? That's so stupid. If you don't know, you should just never comment publicly on your case if you think it'll. Even if you don't think, you just not say anything publicly. This was so stupid of him. I'm not a retard, okay? Huh. And I'm innocent, so fuck them. But this was so stupid for him to come out and basically allude to multiple times, saying that he was like nuking his Twitch account or whatever in order to not, like, why the fuck would you ever do this? I don't know.
LLC to the case. It's officially a party to the case because this is a business that they own and she's looking for information about it, which I'm not sure she ever got originally. Maybe not. So what is she saying with waste? Throughout the party's entire marriage, Nicholas Palom squandered community assets by making grossly excessive expenditures on paramours, rent, business trips, and himself. She contests that he spent literally money that she would have never agreed to. She's not going to agree to say, hey, spend this amount of money on Kachi getting her a Chanel bag that cost $14,000.
Spent 30 minutes talking about a very expensive purchase.
You're so dumb.
Hell no. Or these gambling trips. So she wants to be reimbursed for that. Now, of course, in true Nick Palom fashion, he responded saying, hey, give her nothing. He don't look, trust me. He don't want her seeing not a penny from anything. But, it's the law, so he has to. As we move forward, this is him trying to get the gag order lifted. Now, when it comes to the divorce, it's been going on for a while, and I'm sure Nick would love for everyone to think that it's being dragged out for her financial gain to hit the 10-year mark. And sure, that can be the case. But on paper, there's a different story. See, according to her November filing, she keeps having to file these motions to compel to get documents from Nick because he was supposed to turn over all his financial records on the 25th, as it says right here. But the problem is that didn't happen. There were some deficiencies, right? What did he not share with her? First and foremost, right here, the closely held corporations and unincorporated business entities. What does that mean? She is looking for documents, right, on OTK.
Are these all are these motions that they're filing that have been approved by the court, or are these they're waiting for answers still on them? In discovery, you're supposed to trade information back and forth. So an example of this would be me turning over logs of conversations that I've had to Pixie's team. An example of failing to do this would be Pixie and the rest of the fucking morons over there giving me basically nothing for any conversation with any of the people that she's been talking to or scheming with or plotting with. If you don't turn over something and you're not responding to requests from the opposing counsel for documents or things, then you could file a court order to compel somebody. So basically saying, hey, well, before you just weren't giving shit and we were annoyed. Well, now the court has before it a motion to compel. And if the court signs off on this motion and you don't turn it over, now you can be found in contempt of a court order, which means that if you didn't use the right pronouns for your students, you're going to get thrown in jail. Which means that if you're now violating a court order, there can be fines or other penalties, I think up to and including jail imposed on you. Yeah.
K Media Inc. Who owns it? How many people, what shares they have? He's like, hey, look. Documents confirming that OTK Media Inc. holds 100% ownership of the following ventures: OTK Ventures and OTK Studios. Technically, she's a owner of OTK through Nick. And she's like, hey, I still don't know what we own. So she's like, hey, I haven't got any of these things. Nothing pertaining to OTK Ventures, OTK Studio, Red Tonic, Mad Mushroom, Mythic Talent. Also, this is where the Mizkif component enters the case.
I will expose everything about every person that you've ever known. And it is time to go full demon time.
She is looking for, hey, what's going on with the Mizkif lawsuit? Right here, litigation. She needs to know the current litigation with OTK. Nicholas Palom has failed to produce the following: any information regarding lawsuits filed against OTK.
What?
She seems like she got really good lawyers.
From everything I've seen, everything from her side seems pretty professional. I don't think I've ever heard her say or do anything that made her seem stupid ever.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Yeah. Obviously, their streams are kind of annoying to me, but that's because I can never tell if they were actually fighting or not. But it feels like she's handled everything here pretty professionally in terms of what she needs to. Yeah.
DK Inc., Mythic Talent Management Inc., and King Lab Gaming, which is Starforge. She's like, hey, I haven't got any of that. And as a result, she's like, look, I want, in order of him to provide this documents, also an admonishment by the court for failure to answer discovery timely and fully can result in a progressive sanctions, including striking Nicholas Palome's pleadings, which if they strike it and just go by basically what she proposed as their half of the settlement, that could be horrendous for Nick.
Yes. So actually, forget what I just said. For them failing to produce documents, meaning they could get fined or jailed, the worst outcome here, given the money at stake, which I would imagine to be at the 7-figure level, what could be, if it's like, the court will say, okay, well, you've asked him for documents, right? And he's like, yeah. And it's like, he's not giving them to you, right? It's like, no, he's not. All right, well, how much money do you think the business is worth? Oh, $5 million? All right, fuck it, we'll go with your number then, right? The adversarial readings in a civil case can be made allowed. If somebody can't produce something, or if somebody's unwilling or unable to produce something, and you should have it, and it's your obligation to have it, you don't, then the judge is allowed to tell the jury, or the judge himself can consider it at summary judgment. He can say, okay, well, fuck it. If you're not going to produce anything, they're telling me one thing, I'm just going to listen to them. Fuck you. And I'm going to look at you adversarially due to the fact that you're not producing it. I'm not just going to look at it neutrally, like, oh, well, we don't have any information, so we can't guess. I am going to guess, and my guess is going to be against you because you're not producing it. That can be an outcome from stuff like this.
But if the judge does that in the end, whose fault is that? It's just his to blame. In order imposing Nick Palome pay her legal fees for preparing this first amended motion to compel.
I'm pretty sure you always request legal fee. I don't know how often. It's probably almost never given, but you always request stuff like this.
I mean, if this is true, I think that's only fair.
You know, there's
going forward, December 9th.
A practice that you use when you have two business partners of determining like how much equity each person should have. So like, let's say me and you were 50-50 in like a banana stand, and there's no, like, it's a private company, it's a startup, there's no real valuation, it's skeptical if it could go without you or if it could go without me. You do this thing called a shotgun contract, and essentially what it means is that both of us write what the value of it is to us, and whoever has the lower value, or sorry, the higher value, basically has to put that amount towards it. So like, if I wanted, it's like I want to buy you out, you want to buy me out, how do I determine how much it is? But it can really fuck over the person with less money, but in this arrangement, it would work fine. Do you understand what I'm saying? So like, we both want to buy each other out.
It's it's almost the meme joke I make with Israel-Palestine, that you just give nukes, both of them negotiate, whoever comes closer is willing to give more, or whatever. Basically, you're both incentivized to give like a reasonable estimate, but not so high that
you might actually have to buy it, right?
Yeah,
if I give,
but not so low that you could be bought out for a ridiculous amount of money.
Exactly,
and
that's how you get. That's how you get to the fair price. The only issue is if the other person can't kind of afford it. But I think in a divorce setting, it's perfect because you're both like, hey, how much do you think the equity in Mythic or whatever the fuck it is worth? And they both give a number, and whatever one is higher, okay, fine, good. You think it's worth that much? That's how much of the total assets you're going to have. And then if all that's left is like a house and cash and other things along those lines, basically the other person does it. So you kind of fuck yourself if you go too high or too low.
The only annoying thing about everything in the streamer world is so much of this stuff is person-based and talent-based that it's really hard to make valuations on any of these companies. Like even the talent agents, well, no, not even for like OTK, because it's so closely tied to like all of the people. Like if OTK, like that's a talent agency that could be doing revenue based on sponsors and everything else in the 7 or 8 figure range a year, but the company's like real value, like if they sold it to somebody else, might be 5 figures or less. Because it's like, let's say OTK sells, there's no contract to keep anybody on, and like 5 randos buy that company. They're probably going to collapse in the first year. They're not going to sell any deals because nobody knows a streamer. So it's kind of weird valuing all this. But
someone actually put this in chat, and I think it's actually a decent enough example. Is the idea of one person sets the value, but the other person gets to choose if they get that asset, or if the other person gets it, or if they split it. So you want to say that your Twitch account is worth $5? Cool. I'll take it. I'll take that. You can have $5 extra. So that's a great way. You cut, I choose, as someone in chat said for cutting pizza, I think.
This was her third amended petition for divorce on my birthday of all days. What changed, right? We all know she added, Nick Palome LLC to the case. That's good and dandy. We know that they got married September 25th, 2015. They're celebrating.
What is the legal logic behind splitting earnings 50-50 during divorce? Even if one person did way more work, it never made sense to me. Well, there's different things going here. One, I don't know if they're normally split 50-50, but two, when you say work, you're just counting work that you get paid for. But the reality is let's say that I have a wife and a child and a home, and I work full time, and I earn all the money at my job. My lifestyle is I'm able to have a house and a child and a caretaker for my house and my child, and I'm able to work. All of that happens together only because another person has foregone their entire career to take care of it, right? I can't do all those things. I can't have a kid and a house and have everything taken care of and work. I can't be empowered to do that without that other person foregoing their entire life. So if you guys get divorced in the future, well, generally speaking, statistically speaking, men walk away from divorce better off because they haven't forgone any part of their career. They haven't given up any part of their career. They're still earning. They're fine. Whereas the woman might be, 30 and it's like, whew, well, I quit my career at 23 or 24. I've been out of the job market for 5 years or longer. And I have a kid, most likely, because the vast majority of men don't take the kid after the divorce. And now you're like mega fucked. And it's like, okay, well, this feels a little bit like I got ripped off because the guy was able to keep working and do everything else. And those skills translate, obviously, outside of the marriage to continue to earn, and none of mine do. So, yeah.
10 years of marriage. We know about her adding, the reasons why she should get a disproportionate share. And unfortunately, guys, I hate to tell you, but no agreement was made, even though she was hopeful. But how can you agree to settle something if you don't have all the information to make the informed decision? Was made, even though she was hopeful, but how can you?
Hold on.
Agree to settle something if you don't have all the information to make the informed decision. But most importantly, what did she add? 2 items: post-divorce maintenance. She wants that. Now, here's the thing. We already talked about in Texas, in order to get post-divorce maintenance is pretty hard, considering it's a huge settlement that you're going to see is be roughly $800,000, as well as the fact that they've been married for.
I never know anything in my mind for like dollar amounts for money or what. 800K seems kind of low to me. How much money have they earned over a decade? I would have, just without going through and crunching the numbers, my guess would have been over $10 million.
For 10 years, that gives her a leg up. But the fact that the 800,000.
Which side are you leaning towards so far? I mean, I think Malena should get something. I don't know how much. She might be asking for too much. It might be an unfair amount. I truly don't know the division of labor. I don't know how much money they earned. I don't know how much money Nick gave her. So it's hard for me to say. Maybe she's asking for an unreasonable amount. Maybe Nick is offering an unreasonably low amount. I would expect them to fight back and forth on this. I don't know if court would be involved or not, but I don't really have enough facts to say truly,
$1,000 settlement, that's kind of going to, take a hit to it. But because this is going.
How do you differentiate between someone actually sacrificing their career to do stay-at-home stuff and someone acting like a leech? It's easy to lie. Doesn't matter if they are leeching or lying. That's on you. You chose to marry them. If you're marrying somebody, you should have you're entering into a formal arrangement with them that's recognized by the federal government. Marriages are for tax purposes, right? So I mean, if they end up being a leech or whatever, that's kind of on you. I mean, you married them.
But the fact that the $800,000 settlement, that's kind of going to, take a hit to it. But because this is going by a judge making the decision, it's going to go by the letter of the law. What the judge seems fair and fit for both parties. Is it fair that Malena just walks away with $800,000, which I believe $185,000 is in assets, the rest is in cash, some stock options in OTK, and maybe some Pokemon or Magic the Gathering cards? Is that fair to her? Or is it fair to Nick? Or should the judge say, hey, you got $800,000, figure it out. Why you need an extra, what you're going to realize is she wants an extra $300,000 on top of that, which we will get to. So going back to that, after the post-divorce maintenance, which we're going to get into what she's specifically requesting, she's also requesting a permanent gag order. She does not want him.
No, that's on them when they don't get shit at Destiny. You paint this picture as the woman making an altruistic sacrifice, but what about when that isn't the case? What's your take on those situations? I don't know what you mean, what about when that isn't the case? If somebody's acting poorly or badly, then I would say they're acting poorly or badly. And I'm not saying that the woman is making an altruistic sacrifice. Like, it can be a reasonable one as well. I think marriage is important when kids are involved, for sure, because it's not the woman just being altruistic. It's the woman being intelligent and making a good decision to protect herself and her future. If assuming the woman is the one giving up the work here. It could be the guy doing the stay-at-home stuff too. But no, I mean, the marriage contract is a way for the woman to protect her own interests in the future as well. Does a prenup completely disable something like this from happening? There are different types of prenup and postnup arrangements. I don't know what the standard prenup, postnup stuff is. Some prenuptial arrangements, though, will only protect assets you have coming into the marriage so that you have clearly delineated what you have before going in, so that can't be stolen from you, right? So like, let's say that I go to marry somebody and I have $100 million in the bank. We get married for 5 years. In those 5 years, I only make $100K a year. So I made $500K by the end. And then when we get divorced, she's like, I want half. He earned all that $100 million before we got married. Or I'm sorry, after we got married, I want $50 million, right? Well, I'd say, well, hold on. We signed a prenuptial agreement. You can see very clearly that these assets were mine before coming into the marriage. You can also have prenups or postnups that will say, even if you get divorced, you can't divide assets or whatever. What's mine is mine, what's yours is yours, whatever. You can do all these. It just depends on the contract.
To make any public statements with
no?
About what?
I think a lot of those are illegal in California, though.
Maybe, I don't know. I have to check.
the written or verbal or visual regarding the ongoing litigation, of the parties' divorce unless mutually agreed to in writing by the parties filed with the court. This is a bit much for a gag order. Furthermore, strictly in the event the court does not grant the requested permanent injunction, she has some other requests to grant the following permanent injunction enjoyments the parties, their agents, service employees, basically friends, to say, look, he enjoined him from making directly or indirectly disseminating, publish, or causing to be published, or directly or indirectly requesting a person disseminate or publish any letter, story, statement, correspondence, description, depiction of any kind whatsoever, including any social media formalized, which could be reasonable interpreted as disparaging or negative or defamatory in its description of other parties' personal, professional, private, family life, without limitation the business or financial affairs of the party. Basically, look, she don't want anyone saying anything about her. You see how Julia and MacArthur and Dean is cool are making all these statements about the trial. Obviously, she probably wants none of that to happen going forward, where Nick is disseminating information to them to put out for him to just simply repost on his own platform. Now, we'll talk about that in...
I mean, like, I feel like this is probably fair, but I feel like this is going to be the case for most court settlement things. If me and Pixie would have ever settled anything, but we won't because she's fucking delusional. There's going to be like non-disparagement stuff. There's going to be gag orders. Like, you don't want to settle something with somebody and then have them indefinitely shitting on you for the rest of their lives. Like, come on, like, we have to move past this. Getting that as part of a court order is nice.
Freedom of speech in a later post when we see her discrepancies brought out. But most importantly, there's something I want to point out to you. It's standard that she wants them to cover legal fees, but most importantly, she wants them to cover any expenses through trial, and an appeal should be granted against Nicholas Palome in favor of her. So in other words, if the judge makes her to be granted against Nicholas Palome in favor of her.
There's some stuff that you like always ask for. Like, it's standard to put asks for a lot of these things. They might not get granted, but you just always have them and everything.
So in other words, if the judge makes her decision, she's going to file an appeal if, maybe she feels it's not fair to her and he may file an appeal that it's not fair to him. Should it be granted for her against him, she wants him to cover the appeal. This is major. So when the judge is making this decision, she has to make the decision appeal proof. As if either side appeals, it'll get denied. Now, as we continue, let's look at her disposition of issues. These are the issues that she wants the judge to decide. They had their hearing date on the 12th. So this is likely what the judge has to come to terms with, as both parties made their arguments of why it should happen. Obviously, grant the divorce between the parties from the grounds of insupportability. I think this is going to be granted. Slam dunk. Both of them want to
Is this
happen. Oh, so this is
district court means this is a federal court that's hearing this. I wonder if state courts tend to move faster than federal courts.
Grant the divorce between the parties from the grounds of insupportability. I think this is going to be granted. Slam dunk. Both of them want a divorce. No need not to.
Destiny, knowing the price of lawyers, at what point is it worth it to go to court? What potential payout should you be looking to get in order to offset the cost, provided the other party doesn't cover? I mean, it depends on the amount of money at stake, and it depends on everything that's at stake, right? I mean, like in the case here, this is a very expensive divorce. Some lawyers will work on a contingency based on how much they recover or get from you. Yeah, I mean, Malena's looking at hundreds and hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars potentially for a payout, so it's probably worth it to pay money to get a decent, lawyer here. I don't know how much her lawyer and litigation and everything here would cost for them. I don't know how many documents her lawyers or their teams have to go through, but I mean, I imagine it's worth it to pay here,
The tricky part, award Malena.
But there are other things to consider too. So like if we consider my court case, there are some retards online that say that I should have settled with Pixie for 150K. She was never asking for 150K. She never would have taken 150K as an offer. But some people would theoretically say, oh, well, you could have settled, for 150K as opposed to spending however much money. That's still a consideration that I would have to make. Because let's say that by the end of this whole thing, let's say that it's cost me $1 million, but I could have settled it for 150K. Well, let's say that $1 million buys me a full dismissal where I can say I unequivocally won on every single claim against me versus 150K settlement where who knows what the terms of that will be. There will certainly be a non-disparagement attached to that where I can't come out and shit on the person afterwards. I don't know what kind of statements the other party is going to make with regards to our settlement. Well, I mean, I'll know as part of our settlement, but maybe it's worth it for me to pay extra so that I don't have a bunch of people in the future saying like, oh, well, you settled that case, so you were guilty. Oh, well, you settled that case and she didn't take back any of her Substack. Oh, well, so like there are a lot of considerations to be made when it comes to like, well, how much do you want to spend on a court case? What are you gaining out of winning or losing? What are the financial assets at stake,
60% of the mineral estate and Nick 40% of the estate. I think she has a great shot at getting 60%. Reason being, she could prove waste. She could prove by the letter of the law that he cheated, it's no shock that the going forward, what does her streaming career look like? She's not going to have the connection. She's not going to have access to the network, and she's not going to make the same amount of money without him by her side. They're kind of like a tag team. So that's a leg up for her. But what do you think? Should the judge give her 60%? Will continue to go forward. She wants to be awarded a disproportionate share of the party's estate for the following reasons, which we already went over. Now, her being innocent, that should be a factor because technically she didn't cheat, amongst other things. But so this opens the door for the judge to award her, let's just say 51%, 55%, 59%, or on the more extreme end, 70%, 80%. Now, I don't think it'll get up there. I think 60% probably would be fair. Probably the judge could justify more than 50%. And I think it would be fine on the grounds of waste and infidelity. And if you want to take in the financial abuse, because I likely think that was the whole claim that she was probably making, as we can continue. She wants the order of the confirmation Malena separate property. I think that's fairly standard. There's no real value there. Order Malena's waste claims for Nick Palom's excess expenditures. Basically, if the waste claims are granted, then that money goes back to Malena, or at least half of what he spent goes to Malena. So if he spent $50,000, $100,000 on Kachi over the time that they were separated, she can expect $50,000 back, more than her agreed settlement, because half that money was hers. This is where you get to the nitty gritty. Order Malena Palom's request for post-divorce maintenance for a period of 5 years, beginning February 1st, 2026, in the amount of $5,000 a month. So she basically will want $60K a year or $300,000 over 5 years, tax free. Remember, she meets the criteria, 10-year marriage. But because of this huge settlement, it'll be hard. I'm not sure how the judge will rule that. Order Malena Palom be granted judgment against Nicholas Palom with specific language, securing such interest against the shares and stocks held by Nick Palom with his interest in OTK Media and King Gaming Labs. In other words, run her 50% of the shares or more. She could award more because she's asking for 60%. So she wants her shares of OTK and Starford Systems to be secured. As we keep going, I thought this one was a little bit outlandish.
Wait, Mooten, are you watching my stream?
No. Oh, you linked it? Oh, it's up now?
Fuck you.
Good.
Oh no, I'm just curious. Tell me if the volume works on this or not. Or if you hear yourself.
This order that any refunds received from the date of marriage through the date of the divorce be divided equally by the parties, with Malena being entitled to 50% and Nicholas being entitled to 50%. I think this is going to get denied outright. To go back through 10 years of tax returns and say, okay, well, you got a return in this year, and split that 50-50. I think that's too burdensome for anyone. I don't think the
If they talked about having an open relationship but never put anything in writing, how would Nick go about proving that he didn't cheat? Is he just cooked? I mean, you would have logs or something you'd have to prove. I mean, you go to court and you fight over it. I don't know. Some states are considered, I'm speaking outside of my area here, but some states will have like at-fault divorce, I think, where you have to prove that somebody did something wrong. Some states will allow you to consider bad behavior in a marriage, I think, when it comes to equitable division of assets. Some states, I think, won't, though. Like, it doesn't matter if somebody cheated or not. They won't use those things as part of their determinations. I don't know the specific things in Texas for what's allowed or not allowed to be used here. I just don't know.
Judge is going to agree with that. Order that any liability from the date of marriage to the date of divorce be solely by Nicholas. You know, my ex-wife tried to do this to me. The fucking debt. And here's the thing when it comes to putting debt on someone, right? Let's just say they both have credit card debt, and sure, they're married. His debt is your debt, your debt's her debt. But in my state, when my ex tried to do this to me, there was some law that said if I didn't benefit from the debt that she took, then I'm not responsible for it. For example, if she went out and bought a new car and put that on a credit card, I'm not responsible for half of it because, one, it's not my car. You kind of get it just like that. So I don't think that all the debt will be placed on Nick. But this is, this is why a judge exists, because Nick wouldn't agree to this. I would tell him, like, dude, do not agree to that. Order that the parties file separate tax returns for 2026. Yeah, I think that's going to be granted with no qualms. Order him be enjoined from making public statements, whether written or verbal. I think this is going to be denied. Why? Freedom of speech. You have the right to say anything you want. It's your God-given right in the United States. So I think this is going to be denied. Now, strictly in the court does not grant it, the injunction.
So freedom of speech doesn't make any sense here. That doesn't matter. You can't say anything you want. That being said, there is going to be an ordinary order of business for whether or not somebody has an injunction against them for future statements, and the court is going to heavily presume on one side of that. I just don't know what the history is for that. So like in my court case, like depositions and all of this stuff are typically made public. It's a public court case, and you have to make a strong showing on the opposite side. The movement, the person who's filing a motion, has to make a strong showing for why something shouldn't be public. So Pixie and her incompetent lawyer failed over and over again to make these arguments, which is why like the hearings and the depositions haven't been sealed, is because there's a strong public interest in having all of these filings being publicly available. So unless you can make a really good argument, this is going to be public because it has to be. Now that might not. Now I don't know when it comes to enjoining speech on either party at the end of divorce. I don't know what the ordinary cause is here, but that would heavily determine whether or not this would be approved or denied. I don't know.
Now, this would be granted in part, right? I have something in my divorce clause that says this, right? I cannot make any disparaging comments about my ex-wife. And I think this is standard. So the judge
okay, so he's saying it's standard,
in part, that he
maybe.
can't say anything negative or disparaging about you on social media or through his friends. Sure, that's going to be granted in part. But if he wants to come on the internet and say, yes, in mediation, she asked for 70% or 60%, and how he failed, he could stick to those facts. And that's what I would tell him. Like, as my attorney told me, if I'm going to talk about my divorce publicly, I have to stick to the facts. Like, there's a fact that I paid 2 years of alimony. That's a fact. The fact that I have 50-50 custody, I pay child support. That's a fact. I don't agree with it, but you could talk about the facts, but, you know, if you have a negative opinion of Malena Nick after this, which I imagine you probably do, you kind of want to keep that to yourself, bare minimum, keep it off the internet. Now, obviously, she wants attorney fees, you know.
Oof. At Destiny. You used to have a divorce/family lawyer, a nice black dude that you chatted on stream with a bit. His insight would be cool here. Is he still alive? I'm trying to remember what his name was. It wasn't Red Pill Lawyer or something. I don't think it was that. But I think he got bone cancer, which was super sad because I think this guy was like in his 30s. Divorce attorney? Was that his name? Oh, no, the lead attorney. That was it. Oh, 13 days ago, he's still alive. I wonder how he's doing. I feel like was it about a year ago? He announced that he had, I thought that it was like a terminal, like he made it sound like he was going to die. Like I thought he said that. I don't remember exactly though, but that like he was beyond treatment, or like it was a thing that would slowly progress or something. I'm not sure. He was retarded though, chat. I don't think this guy was retarded. I think he's probably got some opinions that we probably disagree with, but I don't think this guy ever said anything like egregiously stupid or anything.
Lead attorney here. Hope you guys are doing well, man. Listen. What? It's Lead After Dark. Hey, Lead, you got cancer now. You ain't gonna be...
Whoops, fuck.
Hey, Lead, you got cancer now. You ain't gonna be here too long. Give us the info. So I'm gonna give you the info. 25-year divorce attorney. First course going to be all about how to prepare for marriage, how to choose, what you need to understand, all this. Second course going to be about the dang prenups. That's going to be a little quick hit and quit it course. That's going to be cheap. And then the third course, the doozy, is when y'all are actually going through these divorces and y'all calling me up. I had a guy, I ain't going to tell you who he is, but I had a guy call me. He was going through a divorce. He had to call me like 15 times through his divorce because he didn't trust his attorney. I should do a little mini course, $30, how to know if you can trust your goddamn attorney. Look at Candy. I swear to God, I cannot believe Candy's attorney did that. I had her looking crazy out here.
He became super conservative out of nowhere? Wait, did he?
That means he found God.
The cancer that I have is not curable. So it's not like I'm going to beat it. But it's manageable. And they told me that at least your boy got 5 years. And I'll take it. Now, you don't want to say at least, because then I'll go out in a hurricane and get hit.
Oh, maybe I misheard this sound. Wait, what kind of cancer is terminal, but takes 5 years to progress to kill you?
Blood? Drug?
What?
I said blood cancer? I don't know.
I don't want to dig into this. I'm not, I don't care. Okay, back to this.
That's going to come out the community estate. Now, let's get to what we like to call the amount of money that each of them say their expenses. Let's get to the expenses portion, because both of them have to create these expense sheets to detail their spending. In Malena's case, why she needs more money, and probably in Nick's case, why he can't afford to pay her spousal maintenance for the next 5 years. So when it comes to Malena, she's saying her only source of income is the $7,500 a month coming in from Nick and via spousal support. And she says, hey, this is what I get. But she's also saying her monthly house payment is $54,800.
God damn.
$85. That is a lot of money for a house payment, especially when the house is only valued at like $185,000. So this is a lot.
Probably a lot. There's a lot of cancers that kill super slowly. A lot where you die of old age first. Yeah, but my understanding is that if a cancer is going to kill you, or if it's going to take like 5+ years to kill you, I don't know why you couldn't just treat it. Like if it's at the point to where it's terminal, like it's metastasized to different organ systems or whatever, it feels like you're going to die fairly soon. Does it? So, but if it's going to be a long time, why can't you just treat it? I don't understand. I just don't know. People are bringing up that prostate cancer thing. Prostate cancer, I'm pretty sure you can treat prostate cancer. They just choose not to because typically when you get prostate cancer past the age of 70, you'll die before it ever actually kills you. So they just don't treat it. But you can, like you can remove a prostate or do other surgeries or whatever to do it. But some don't respond to any treatments. Oh, maybe that could be the case. I don't really know that much about cancer, I guess. I don't know. Other than neoplastia syndrome is really common in all of House's patients with cancer. Which I also don't know what that is.
This is what I would say, like, this is a little bit suspicious, but now the judge is going to have to look over, like, everything that you say you spend your money on. Now, you can say, hey, household maintenance 60, internet, telephone. This is all standard stuff. But when I go down to, I see meals.
Actually, how does cancer normally kill someone? I don't even know the...
What time you want to do ARC? Do I got a nap time, or do we do it
Are you
soon?
tired?
I can go
That
for
means
like
yes.
2 hours.
If you need to take a 2-hour nap.
All right, let me go take a 2-hour nap.
Do
I'll
that.
be back in 2.
Good.
Good.
I remember when he used to get on the game. When we asked him to, immediately he would get on the game. And now... it's just excuse after excuse after excuse. Bookmark. How do I make my... Control-Shift-B. Why do my bookmarks not show up here? The fuck? Oh, got it. There we go. Okay. Cancer that grows in the digestive system can block it or partly block it, so food can't go through the gut, and the nutrients and calories you need can't be absorbed. You might be able to have surgery with blockage, but if it's impossible, your medical team can do all they can to control your symptoms. Lungs, part then collapses, it can become infected. Bones, can cause calcium to be released into the bloodstream. This can affect the calcium balance in the body. Liver, okay, damn. All sorts of shit. Well...
away from home, 200. Hey, do we have to eat out every day? Some other things that I thought was excessive on Malena's, and look, I got to call it fair, you know. I'm supporting her getting at least 50%, maybe more, maybe like 60. Maybe I would be on board with 60, right? She got nothing. And he just, you know, when you see his divorce calculation sheet, you're like, okay, maybe 60% is fair. Things I don't agree with, 500 a month on entertainment. Jesus Christ, Malena, what are you doing? 700 for personal hair beauty stuff. That's excessive. And $200 on gifts. Like, are we literally buying gifts every month that total $200 for somebody? Is every month someone's birthday? Probably not. So this puts her total expenses at $9,000 and $9,000.
Destiny, that's what treatment means. Treatment just means you can delay death. A lot of patients get heartbroken when they learn this what treatment means. When their doctor says their cancer is treatable, I think it means it will be cured. I don't think that strict delineation in terms of, I don't think that actually means that. I think I thought it meant that. I think I learned this when I had my first debate with Martin Shkreli like fucking 8 years ago before I went into prison or whatever. I don't think doctors even use that strict. Like obviously if you say something can cure something, you mean get rid of it completely. But I think you can like treat something versus like you can treat something and it like for instance like I think you can say like gonorrhea or chlamydia. These are treatable conditions. You're not just managing symptoms. You can treat and cure them. But the treatment doesn't mean that you're just indefinitely whatever. Somebody said it's curative versus palliative treatment. Maybe that's the thing. I've heard people use the term. I think even in a doctor or physician context, I think you can use like treatment or cure. I think you can use these terms kind of interchangeably. Well, you can use treatment to mean cure. You would never use cure to mean just treating the conditions or whatever. But like in House, when they get sick and they figure it out, House is always like, start the treatment. 95% of my medical knowledge comes from House, okay? So 80% of it is probably wrong.
And $43, which puts her at a deficit of around $1,500. So is she going into debt every month? No. I've been through this road.
Wait, when I said delineate there, I meant differentiate, not delineate.
of around 1,500. So is she going into debt every month? No. I've been through this road. I know how it is. She's going to $10,000.
Haircuts, beauty, personal care. $700 a month. God damn.
And 43, $9,043.
That's like a mani-pedi plus full hair thing every month. If you go to do up your like the full hair shit, it's a few $100, $300, $400, $500, depending on how much shit you do. That's like every month. That's crazy. God damn.
Which puts her at a deficit of around 1,500. So is she going into debt every month? No. I've been through this road. I know how it is. She's going to put why she needs the money and maybe inflate her numbers. And he's going to put, well, he can't pay her because, and he's going to deflate his earning potential, which you may catch right out the gate. So when it comes to Nick's.
Can you please turn on Kick mobile playback speed capability? Sure.
His expenses, you're going to see he pays himself roughly $5,000 a month. That's what he pays himself. So on paper, according to this, he's probably making $60,000 a year, which I think we all know that's cap.
See, now that's a bullshit.
We'll get to how he's doing it. So as we continue to go down, notice, remember how he did that stream? He was like, oh, I have to pay rent now? That was just for this.
I'm alone in this big old house.
Yeah, just rub in your big old house, why don't you?
Yeah.
That you live in rent-free.
No, actually, during the divorce, I actually have to
pay rent now?
Yeah.
Wait,
not only that, chance of collecting back pay.
No, wait.
I'm losing all this money. It's all gone.
Wait, hold on. You're getting back paid too? How much? How many months?
Like 2 years, yeah. And all the bills too, yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I had to pay it all, yeah.
Was it a lot?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, more than the average American makes in a year, yeah. Go on.
Really?
It's all good.
God forbid he went up in there like, oh yeah, Soda Poppin' let me live free in his house. I don't pay no rent. Soda Poppin' pays all the bills and I pay nothing for rent. I imagine Malena in court brought this up, that there was no money ever discussed. Okay, maid cleaning, can we clean up ourselves as a streamer? Probably not. Now I get as a streamer, you have these expenses, especially the internet, things I didn't agree with. I'm like, bro, you spending $500 a month on clothes? Like a washing machine just don't exist, I suppose. Also, $400 for personal care and haircut. Bro does not get his haircut. Like, have you seen his hair? Who's cutting that shit? Obviously, probably someone better than mine, but look, don't worry. It's not about me right now. It's about Nick. Focus on Nick. $1,500 a month in entertainment. Like, what is up with both of them in these exorbitant entertainment expenses? These could be cut. I thought Kachi was paying all the bills anyway, right? Travel, $2,000 a month.
What? Wait. Oh, never mind. Kick doesn't support greater than 1080p yet, right? I don't think so. Wait, what is this mobile fucking shit you guys are talking about? Where does this get changed at? You guys have this on? Moderation, community. I don't even know where the fuck you change this stuff at. 1440p is an option for me when I stream to Kick. Wait, settings. Wait, really? I wonder if they could do 1440p or 4K with like super low latency. Destiny, she needs to bleach her roots every month. That's normal. Getting your nails done is expensive. A Dyson costs about $600. Bleaching your roots every month is normal? I'm sure you have to re-bleach them depending on what you're trying to maintain every now and then. Sure. Every month though? That sounds like a lot. Fuck that.
Plus spousal support. So his total needed per month, including the spousal support payments, which I thought came out of the community funds.
Nick, I audit attorney fees. Look up legal audit services if they tell you to pay for Malena's fees.
It doesn't work that way. It's all community estate.
$23,000 a month. All right, $23,000 a month. And it looks like he has a credit card with a balance of $1,000, bringing his, this monthly payment, $28,000. That's the average of the last 3 months. So you see him hyping it up. Hey, my monthly payment is $28,000. And they're just going to go with that number. They're just going to go with the monthly debts right here to $28,000. Oh, it was $28,000 a month.
Come on now, dog. Come on, man.
Like, how? Look, man, like Marty Berg is probably cooking his books.
Great. Get the f out. Do it. I don't need you.
Based on this, right? Difference between the money received and the money needed. Do you think he's going in debt roughly, $18,000? No. Maybe his business picks up the other bills, but not so sure. Now,
wait, hold on. Wait, is Dan here? This motherfucker. What is this mobile thing you're talking about? I don't know where the fuck this is. I don't believe this is a real thing. I think you're trolling me. Destiny, quick clarification. Cancer, disease, and viruses don't kill you in a literal mechanical sense. They don't stab you, flip a death switch. Death happens when a vital system fails, like breathing, circulation, or oxygen to the brain. Cancer causes organ failure or immune collapse, leading to infection or sepsis. Thank you, I know. That's why I asked. I'm not sure how cancer kills you, and I looked it up. Technically, what you typed, if you want to well actually me, then technically what you typed is incorrect as well. Stabbing you also doesn't kill you. Stabbing you also causes the failure of a vital organ system, usually something related to your blood circulation around your body, or can cause organ failure for a variety of reasons. So suck my dick. Fuck you.
Now, as we keep going, right, let's get to Nick Palome's disposition of issues, right? What was his attorney arguing in court on his behalf that he wanted, that he needed, that he can afford? That was what, you know, someone would consider fair for both parties. As we continued, let's look at it, right? So this was...
I hate when men talk about hair. How mad are you? Bring up the picture. This is you right now. And this is who we're cheating on you with. And guess what? We don't know the difference between left and right. And you spend so much time on this over here. We don't even give a fuck, okay? We don't care. In fact, 95% of the men in my chat that see this don't even know what the difference is or which one is even better. So get fucked, okay? And fuck you. I hate women. We all hate women right now. I'm just kidding. Stop!
Filed the day after trial. So you see January 13th right here in the morning. Now I want you to pay attention to this because literally almost like 8 hours later, he filed a second one. He filed a second one. So we'll go through this, right? And then we'll use the second one to calculate the settlement. So when you go through this, what does he want? He wants a divorce. Yes, granted, done. You're going to get divorced. Division of community property. He requests the court divide the community estate in the manner that the court deems.
Sorry. I need a nuclear sound. I just read a fucking nuclear fucking truth bomb. Whoo! I just read a nuclear truth bomb. If you're a political commentator in the United States and you are choosing to admit in 2026 that you have realized that you badly underestimated how bad Donald Trump is, this should be something you are admitting in a letter announcing your retirement from public life. Absolutely fucking true.
Justice right as provided by law and as set out in Exhibit A. This is going to get denied or maybe granted in part, but it's not going to just be 100% granted. Like, oh, you wanted to be, Nick, you did the job for us. You busted down already and you're an honest, trustworthy guy. So we're going to divide your empire the way you see fit because you're a stand-up guy. No, it's not happening. It might be granted in part, but probably denied in part. He also wants the court to confirm his separate property. I think that's fair when we get down to it. Now, waste and reconstitution. Request the court find that Malena has committed waste on the community property. I don't know what she did for waste. Not in any of the court docs I saw. I didn't see it. I'm sure he probably has some great proof of it, but I didn't see it. He also wants her to pay attorney fees.
What will Exhibit A explain this? What ought to be the actual existing value of the estate as part of the court's just and right division of the community estate is set out in Exhibit A.
That's odd. You're like, wait, this is $1 million divorce. You want her to pay attorney fees? Yeah. I want her to pay my attorney fees. Now, when you get down to it, it's about $15,000 extra, I guess, that he wants her to pay. Request for relief regarding motion to seal the courts. He wants all the documents in his divorce to be sealed, except for those documents that are required by law to be recorded in the minutes of the court. We as a people have the right to look at Nick Palome's divorce proceedings, not because he's a Twitch streamer or because we're nosy, but to make sure that the judge's decisions are fair across the board. God forbid you come across a judge who always awards women 60%. You would need those court filings to say, hey, this judge is biased against men, and every woman who files for divorce, she automatically awards 60%.
Wait, I would be very, very, very scared about attacking the judge in a case or calling the judge biased. You had better have a real fucking good reason before you start dropping that, because that's your nuclear option where you're like, I actually think that you are biased and can't do my court case because you're actually a corrupt judge. You're like pushing the fucking evacuate button on your shit. And you better hope that the eject seat works there, because if it doesn't, whoo, he's not doing that. Okay, yeah, I just heard him mention.
by law to be recorded in the minutes of the court. We as a people have the right to look at Nick Palom's divorce proceedings, not because he's a Twitch streamer or because we're nosy, but to make sure that the judge's decisions are fair across the board. God forbid you come across a judge who always awards women 60%. You would need those court filings to say, hey, this judge is biased against men, and every woman who files for divorce, she automatically awards 60%, no matter what the circumstances are. 60, 60, 60. So this is where these checks and balances kind of come into play to keep people honest. Nick requested that all...
This is true. There's a reason why we are incentivized to have court filings be public. And they're all public proceedings, right? Yeah.
Leave by Malena be denied. What does this mean? Lawyer fees denied. Post-spousal maintenance, post-divorce spousal maintenance denied. He wants all that donezo, right? Respectfully. And now before we get to this right here, let's look at the third one. Now the third one that was submitted 8 hours later is pretty much the same. There's nothing.
Is this motherfucker emailing the courthouse for this shit? Because I see he's got local. He doesn't even have his own folder for these. He's just downloading them and opening them right from the download folder. That's disgusting.
Different other than me pointing out that there is a 400K discrepancy in his exhibit, which we'll get to. Also, is more of the same, right? I already talked about how the public has an interest in knowing what the judge is going to do.
You probably might see all the account numbers once the case gets unsealed and you guys can go through my documents, because I don't know why in God's green earth, divorces are public knowledge. So you have your opportunity soon enough, motherfucker. Or you can watch an illiterate man, who's 85, try and go through the documents if you want to do it that way too. It's okay.
Let's get into Nick Palom's spreadsheet of how he would like things to be divided. Now, I want to bring to your attention that the house in Norway, as you see, has a value of $185,000. This is how they came to this. I have no idea. Normally, it's an appraisal of both. Now, what you're going to see is some large numbers that he has in bank accounts. One account.
This is proposed property division spreadsheet. So this isn't all of his assets, right?
I'm back, King. What'd you need?
Oh, I was how to turn something on for Kick, but I think it's already on. That guy's retarded.
Oh, I have no fucking idea.
Oh, 179,000, 272,000. Some account,
spreadsheet.
122,000 right here. Now, what he is proposing is this division, right? So he's going to say, hey, of these accounts, hey, Malena, remember, guys, Malena's on the right, Nick is on the left. Malena's going to get 179,000. That account that has that, all hers. The account with 272,000, all hers. And this was the balance of the account as the date that they...
That's a crazy amount to have in checkings and savings, no? It depends on how much money you're making. If you're making 6 figures a month, it's pretty easy to float a balance like that in your checking and savings, especially because you need some level of liquidity to move stuff in and out of accounts. If you have money managers, in an ideal world, you are, I don't even know what the fuck it's called. I just got one of these, but like ideally you're sucking money out of your checking account ASAP to go into some type of interest bearing. I know that you have MMD, the money market deposit accounts are one thing, but there's another option. I don't know. I should look this up. Or these people are just stealing all my money. I actually don't know. But ideally, you're using accounts that are interest bearing. But if you're not, if you don't have like a actual wealth manager or anything like this, then that means that you can float. Yeah, you can easily float 6 figures or more sometimes in your checking or savings just because of your month-to-month payments. You have to have some level of liquidity there, so you're not constantly going to buy and sell stocks or whatever in order to pay your bills.
They went to trial. The Chase account with $122, he's going to keep. The Chase account with, I believe this had 150,000, he's going to keep 126,000 of it, and she is going to keep 23,000 of it. Now we keep going down. These are all different now. You have PayPal, Venmo, Chase Checking, DBN Oslo, PayPal. Piddly numbers, right? This is the values. This is who's getting what. As we keep going down, right, you're going to see brokerage accounts in Malena's name. None. You know why? He likely had to liquidate it.
You never want to go over 250K because it's not insured then, right? I mean, it doesn't really matter. I mean, it wouldn't be insured, but FDIC insurance is not saving rich people's accounts because most of their money is going to be in stocks or some other type of non-FDIC insured product.
Likely had to liquidate all his stock options to pay Malena. And, I'm not trying to make fun of him because, look, dude, I've been there. I know the pain of closing an account and taking out proceeds and busting that joint down straight to your ex-wife. It's not fun. I wish you no man, but this is where we are. So that's why you see this. So all that NVIDIA stock, that millions, I guess, was sold, or it did. Now let's just hope Nick is not hiding assets.
Is it? Fuck, I'm not trying to roast anybody here because I don't know the lifestyles that these people live. And I guess I also don't know the money they were making. Is it really the fact that Nick could be worth less than $1 million? Is that possible? I thought, didn't these people have like 20 or 30,000 subs? What do they spend? Maybe they go out and spend money a lot. Bro, I don't think that there's anything to be, don't ever underestimate the frugality of the gamer lifestyle. God damn, I don't spend any of my money. I save all of it for my multiple, just kidding, video games, stop.
Playing the high asset game because that can only be to his detriment if it ever gets found out.
A huge mistake that men make is messing around with the money in a divorce. You may think, hey, I earned this money. This is my money. I can do with it whatever I want. The thing is, in Texas, we have community property. If you earned it during the marriage, it's both of y'all's. You're going to shoot your own self in the foot if you start hiding that money, putting it where she can't get it.
Or worse, spending it on retarded shit. Because if you made $1 million while you were married and you spent 800K of it on retarded shit, she's not coming after you for half of 200K. She's coming after you for half of the million. And if you spent a bunch of it, it depends on, like, I think that was part of that waste claim that was made earlier. If you think that you can just start burning through this cash on retarded shit, I think they can still make an argument for why they should have been entitled to half of that. Closer to 10,000 subs at most? Really? I thought these guys had like 20,000 concurrent viewer plus or whatever. People don't become financially literate just because they get money. Yeah, I understand that. I guess it just comes down to lifestyles. Like, I guess this all just varies on lifestyle. I feel like if you make 100K a year, if you go from making 20 to 40K a year to making 100K a year, in my mind a long time ago, that's like, oh my God, I'm rich. But even 100K a year, I feel like I can burn through that really fast. It's like on just like dumb shit, on like too many flights, too many hotels, too many nice restaurants. Like 100K is money that if you're not cognizant of what you're doing, you can blow through really quickly. I feel like once you start making like 100K a month, like where you're at the point where you can start buying a couple cars every month, I don't know how you go through that much money without intentionally doing some crazy shit. That just seems impossible to me. I don't know what I would even say. I would have to try so hard to waste so much money. Like buying a car and driving it off a cliff every month, or multiple, I guess, like I'm doing with this fucking court case. I just don't know where all the money goes. That's what I don't understand. His max sub count was 28,000 subs. Jeez. Destiny, bro, what the fuck happened? Well, after he got divorced, I think he basically quit his YouTube channel, which is retarded. Like XQC said, it was a loser. I don't know why. It was just so stupid. I don't know what his... But well, also, we're also discounting like the emotional stuff here too. It might have been legitimately hard for him, interpersonally, everything else. Yeah. By the way, you're not buying that sports car or whatever only after the lawsuit ends. Listen, I know that Porsche that I want, and I only want it new. I don't even know if I could ever find it new. Someday we'll see, okay? I also just don't like buying new cars. I like my $40,000 Ford Focus RS. So from 2021 to... No, okay, this is a lot fewer subs than I thought. This is way fewer subs than I thought. Wait, how many subs did I have on Twitch? Can you find data for my channel? Okay, I had around 3,000 to 5,000. Wait, what happened here? Did I get banned for 3 months from Twitch? Or is there just no data for this? COVID, 2020 to 2021. Oh, I got departnered. Oh, and then they let non-partners have subs again. Oh, Rittenhouse based. Okay. 3,000 subs. And they had 10,000 to 3,000 subs. Okay, damn. They were getting Twitch ad revenue and they were getting sponsors as well, though. But
Leave her where she can't pay bills or buy the kids school clothes. You will eat those actions as such a bitter pill in the divorce process. And it's going to cost you more money because eventually she's going to get access to the money because it's half hers. So let's not do that. Let's let cooler heads prevail and be on the up and up about the money. It will benefit you and get you more money in the long run.
Going back to his Trust Me Bro spreadsheet, we continue to go down. The NMPLOL Productions, this is interesting, right? Has it at worth $605,000. And he's saying, look, this was the average valuation by his people and her people. Now, who knows what her people valued it at? I wish she would have submitted a spreadsheet, but maybe she didn't want to overstep because she knew Nick was. And guys, I was the Nick in my divorce, and I 100% submitted a spreadsheet. And we settled ours out of court. So the Escalade. Now, this is where the Escalade gets interesting, right? Because if I'm not mistaken, this is the third submittal that he did, right? This is the third. Now, look, we're going to figure this out real quick, right? So look, we have this third. Let's go to the top, make sure. Yeah. This is the third one. This is the one submitted at 8 p.m. Now, you have to ask yourself on the original one that was submitted at 8 a.m.
What would you do with some infinite money? Only thing I could think was giving away $1 million. I wouldn't have waited so long to build a better computer. I don't know, bro. I just like to sit in my room and scream at people. At this point in my life, I'd probably be more donating to being a little George Soros. Like maxing out your contributions to congressional candidates or donating to Unfuck America or Super PACs or whatever.
Why did he have it at 120,000 earlier in the day, but then later in the day had it at 100,000. We got to go back to the third one because
somebody linked this.
Hey, and he was going to tell us how he felt this morning.
By AV equipment. True on that one, actually. I got like 4 or 5 different emails when I was asking about tripods, and there was one that kept coming up over and over again. I think 3 different people independently recommended me this. But it's like, it's so expensive. I don't know if it just feels a little bad just because. I think this plus the head is like $900 per tripod, but they're a few pounds lighter, especially when you include the head, than my Manfrotto ones. They were highly recommended. These Peak Design ones, I'm not sure. Making my travel kit lighter would be nice. That would be a huge boon. The voice actor for Cell has passed away. Well, that sucks. The heads that I have right now on my Manfrotto stands though are way overkill, over-engineered, not overkill, because I don't do live panning. All my cameras are locked off for when I'm shooting these events. I don't know. We'll see. You want your tripod to be heavy? No, I want it. It's again, my tripods when I do events are all locked off. I'm not moving or having live panning or anything. So, and I don't want it to be heavy because I have to carry my fucking shit with me when I travel with it everywhere.
Yeah, if Nick...
What tripods do you own right now? There's like a really nice standard recommended Manfrotto tripod with the standard head or whatever. It's probably this one. I have 3 of these. My total gear when I travel with the cases included is about 130 pounds right now though. So being able to shave off any weight is always nice.
Yeah, if Nick is still sick. He was sick yet.
But you could do live panning? Well, I would have to start hiring a crew for that if I was going to do that. I don't have any desire yet. Locked off is fine.
If Nick is still sick. He was sick yesterday, and he was going to tell us how he felt this morning. I think Ryan's going to be on it regardless, whether Nick is there or not. When's Malena coming on the podcast? Oof. That'd be a spicy one. When she gets her half. I think she's going for more than half. I think I remember asking Nick specifically, can I ask or say that? He's like, yeah, I think you can. I don't know. It's a tough thing. It's a legit court case, but I think it's coming to a close. Thank fucking God. Why would you say that? Well, I think Nick's trying to give her half, and she's been declining it. I don't know.
Why was this linked to me? We already... Okay, I don't know. Destiny from a doctor. Even though I'm not an oncologist, how treatable cancer is mostly due to how well a specific cancer responds to chemotherapy, radiotherapy, immunotherapy, or how well it is surgically resectable. Many factors come into play, especially how easily they metastasize, spread, and infiltrate distant organs, which is most often the reason for the deadlines, besides infiltrating organs and major vessels locally, like pancreatic cancer. Okay. If you charge events for AV, are you worried they might want ownership of the content? Although I definitely think you should start trying to get reimbursed. Well, I'm going to charge regardless, but I don't care. That's fine. It's worth it. Because I think based on the work I do from the posts I've made, it seems like I can charge anywhere from 4 to 10K for some of these events that I'm shooting. But I just can't, if I'm doing like 30 of these a year now, like at some point I have to start charging just because it's so much work and it's so much lugging around. And if I break a camera, if I lose something, like I should be making something on all the gear I'm carrying around and everything.
What?
What?
Why the fuck did J. Dr. Fernanda tell me to unmute?
Oh. Okay, Mr. $400 keyboard, just get the peak. Listen, I use my keyboard every single fucking day for 8 hours a day because that's how often I stream every single day. So a nice keyboard is important, okay?
And a nice chair. And a nice monitor.
And
a
bed
nice mouse.
and all that, yeah. Surely it's cheaper to buy 2 tickets and lug someone along than pay baggage fees. I think I get up to 3 bags, 70 pounds each free now with American Airlines, so I don't have to worry about that. Thank God.
Once he submits this new one, the other one is kind of like null and
The
void.
question is, do you really
So
need
go
those
back
fucking fancy-ass Cine cameras, the fucking huge ones, as opposed to the lighter ones? Because those things are big and they're heavy.
They're big and they're heavy. The sensors are big, though, which is nice, which means that I don't have to worry about... The problem with a lot of the events I'm doing is I don't have good control over the lighting conditions. And so if I'm bringing cameras with me in kind of like not the best lit areas...
Here. Big shout out to Little Rock, man.
I thought you said before that like for auto auto adjusting and auto tracking and autofocus, the Sony ones are king. Why not
Okay,
just
but
get like a FX30s for traveling? Like they're gonna do the same format.
First of all, I'd have to switch literally every part of my workflow to incorporate those. And then secondly, I don't know how much better and lighter those cameras would be. I don't really have to worry about autofocus as much because I stopped being a retard that has his f-stop at the lowest it can go on the ISO at the lowest. I just turn my f-stop up to 4 or whatever. I don't give a fuck. It's fine. And autofocus, yeah, so autofocus doesn't matter. I'm not going to pan or tilt or do any of this shit. For a lot of these events that I'm doing here, like having a big, huge sensor is nice because I don't have to worry so much about the lighting because I don't have much control over the lighting, and I don't have to introduce a ton of noise because I'm cranking the ISO on a shitty camera. Not to say the FX30, none of these are shitty cameras. These are all great cameras, but
is that the biggest part of when you're
also
traveling?
these
Is like
the camera's live stream and everything too, which is nice. I don't know how easy or difficult it is to take live feeds out of the Sony cams or not. I'm not sure.
the cameras are the biggest part, I'm assuming, right? The cameras plus the lenses?
For how the weight for the stuff I take?
Yeah.
Maybe, or the tripods. The tripods are pretty heavy too.
How many cameras do you need, you think, in this setup? Like, what we really talk... Actually, you should make a list. Like, what do you fucking really...
3 cameras is good. My setup right now is pretty tight. Like, I think 3 cameras is good. Having the shot, the reverse shot, and the wide, I think are good shots. I could even do a 4th camera, maybe, if I wanted, like, a wider audience one, but I think 3 cameras is good.
Okay.
Down to the third one, you'll see the $605,000 valuation and the $100,000 valuation for the car. Now, here's the thing that.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, I think what?
No, nothing. Go ahead.
Think about when it comes to NMPLOL Productions LLC. Who is the judge going to believe? Is the judge going to take the average of the two and say, okay, 605,000, or will the judge just take Nick's, which could be lower, or Malena?
There's been a super big update on the Sony interface since your A73. It makes streaming from them the best in the market. Well, I'm kind of bought into the Blackmagic ecosystem now. There's 2 things that Blackmagic offers that's nice. The ATEMs are really nice. Everything I've ever said about audio video stuff more than a year ago, ignore, because I hadn't learned the products or whatever. The ATEM boards are super, super slick and super fucking nice. I very much appreciate a lot of the tech that Blackmagic has built out. I just didn't know how to use it before. So for instance, like the ability to push a single button on my ATEM board and independently record all 3 camera streams with the cuts saved onto an external SSD, that's incredibly convenient. So that when I finish an event, I could just hand over that drive or upload everything from that drive to anybody working on a YouTube video, and they could just work on that. Technically, you can edit this live if you wanted to, or have another device nearby that you're doing this basically live on. The ATEM boards are really nice, although technically you can connect anything via HDMI or SDI to those boards and they would work. So I theoretically could do that. I also have I have another device. This, whatever the fuck this is, that does when you go to set up, the quicker you can set up and tear down reliably and quickly, just the better it is for these fucking events. This box allows me to do video, tally and talkback, although I don't use that. I just like to say I can do it though. And power. All of it over an Ethernet cable. So if I have a place to set up my laptop and then I plug in my Ethernet cables here, I can fully power and get video to and from every camera. I don't have to run power to each camera, so I don't have to find individually where I set the cameras up to run power to them or run huge extension cables everywhere. And I don't have to run like the unwieldy SDI cables or God forbid HDMI if I do it. It's just an Ethernet cable, which they're Ethernet cables. They're cheap, they're easy to move, they're nice. Ethernet cables are just very baby easy fucking cables for retards. They go an infinite length, they don't have signal drop off, they're just very, very nice to work with. I don't know if Sony has anything comparable to that. They might, I don't, like these days, just from what I've read for videography related stuff, like every camera today, the metal is really good. The softwares can be give or take depending on what you're working with, but like you're not going to get bad shit. Like nobody's selling like bad stuff on the market. Everything is pretty good. But the Blackmagic ecosystem, I'm kind of roped into right now, and it does everything really well for me that I wanted to do.
Is there anything with the shittier Blackmagic, the Pocket 6Ks, that they don't do versus the other ones? Like, could you just use the Pocket 6Ks?
Well, the Pocket 6Ks don't do SDI out, and they don't have the Ethernet out, which are the 2 big things that I really like. And they're also they might use a smaller sensor. I don't know if the 6K sensor is different than the 6K sensor on the studio cams, but
Is the judge going to take the average of the two and say, okay, 605,000? Or will the judge just take Nick's, which could be lower, or Malena's? Typically, the judge is going to take the evaluation of the two and split it down the middle. That's the fair thing to do. Now, as far as the Cadillac getting sunsetted, yeah, it looks like, is she requesting it or is he selling it? That's going to be
Do you carry any backup stuff in case something fails? Fuck no.
Great question. But here is where the $450,000 mistake comes into play, right? Let's zoom out.
Cat 5 does have signal drop off. Isn't that like at 500 meters or something? Isn't that really far?
So you have this Chase banking account, X. There's no net value. The net value of the Chase banking account, it's nothing there. Same with this one, it's just an X, just an X. And I was just like, look, why do you have a value for pretty much everything else and just an X for these accounts?
Oh, 100 meters, whatever.
In my mind, these accounts should be considered part of the divorce. They're not listed as separate property. So he's basically saying, look, this 450,000, yeah, this gonna be to me. Because remember, he's on the left, she's on the right. He wants that money for him, but not a part of the settlement, which is very odd. I'm just like, wait, what? And imagine this, right? Imagine doing this, going through it twice.
If you start recording events for money, you're gonna have to get insurance or something. For what?
Resubmitting and still just...
Please just bring some lightweight light panels to spotlight your subjects. I thought about that. If I could, like if I could reduce the total weight of what I carry, because these, I don't know if I would get into the aperture system, but I have so many NAND lights. The NAND lights are very good, and they're very fucking powerful. Like, even those little, like, all of my lights in here are set to, like, fucking, not these two, but, like, the ones back here are set to, like, fucking 2%. They're insanely powerful lights. So.
Just putting, like, hey, we don't got no value for that. But you know the balance. Yeah, we know the balance, but it's gonna come to me. It's gonna come to me, Judge. Come on, Judge. Wait, what? Why is this not part of the calculation? You know, a piece of me wants him to be granted the ability to speak, because maybe he'll start reacting and just say I'm lying, because he must assume I know some extra information that, you know, I'm just not reporting on. But I would love for him to explain that. I would love it.
Insurance in the event that you mess up somehow and lose all the event footage and are liable. Well, I never would do that. One of the benefits to live streaming is that any problem that shows up, you're going to know it immediately and you're going to troubleshoot it immediately. It's not like a podcast where you're recording something that, funnily enough, is infinitely more stressful. Like me having to remember, like, did I turn the sound recording on? Is OBS recording? Are my cameras recording? Did something stop recording? Like, that's way more stressful. Live streaming is pretty easy. Like, if it's working, it's working. Like, worst case scenario, I literally have a backup on the YouTube stream that I created, you know? And then I'll create so I'm streaming it. Plus, I have my OBS doing a local recording. Plus, I have the ISO individual recordings that are going to be off the ATEM from all three cameras. So, yeah, I haven't had any issues with that yet. Is your stuff packed into a road case? If so, it's on wheels, so the weight doesn't actually matter. Okay, listen. I'm like a 150-pound 5'8" dude. Okay, the weight does matter to me. You still have to pick it up and put it in cars. The difference between an unwieldy 45-pound like Pelican case versus an unwieldy 75-pound Pelican case is fucking annoying, okay?
I know
it also changes if I have somebody with me, how much I can expect them to carry or wheel around or whatever, too.
You know, a piece of me wants him to be granted the ability to speak, because maybe he'll start reacting and just say I'm lying, because he must assume I know some extra information that, you know, I'm just not reporting.
Do you have any redundancy for internet connectivity like a Starlink? I almost got one. There's a device that I got recommended, actually. I had that talk I said like a couple months ago with a guy who I actually knew a lot of what he was talking about that I thought about getting. I just didn't. I might invest in it, but it was an adapter that you can plug like up to four SIMs into, I think. I don't remember what it was called. When I start doing more of these Unfuck America events this year, I might grab one. I'm not sure. What are your lights called? It's by a brand called Nanlight, Nanlight, but I wouldn't recommend it unless you're trying to do like professional podcasts or something. Like, these are very expensive lights. Like, it's like what would you call it? Like the prosumer tier, or maybe professional tier. I don't know. Like these tube lights that I have in the back that are super sick. I think a case of these might be $1,500, $2,000, $2,200. Like, these are very, very, very expensive lights. They're reliable. They last for a long time. You can leave them on forever. The software is unfortunately very Chinese, but it works. But and they're very bright. But they're very expensive. Like, there's no reason to be spending this much money for, like, if you just want to make a casual thing or whatever. The biggest reality is, if you're buying a cheap camera and a cheap fucking whatever light and then just walking around and getting practice is probably the most important thing to do than anything else. Just gear checking yourself constantly, you're not going to get any better. There are, like, yeah, a professional photographer or videographer can take a piece of shit fucking webcam and like a fucking lamp and make a nicer shot than, you know, somebody who spent, like me, $50,000 on gear and can't even do like 3-point lighting or whatever. Like, there's so much You just practice. Yeah, do your shit. Okay.
Because maybe he'll, come on, Judge. Wait, what? Why is this not part of the calculation? You know, a piece of me wants him to be granted the ability to speak because maybe he'll start reacting and just say,
Oh, wait, fuck. This is the thing I was going to ask. For any public filings, are these like balance sheets public anywhere? Is this actually true, or was I not understanding this? Is Nick claiming on these sheets, or are these just the assets that they think they can divide? That he's worth less than $1 million? Can that possibly be the case?
What? And imagine this, right? Imagine doing this, going through.
That according to the division of assets here, Nick is basically claiming he's worth less than $1 million.
You know, a piece of me wants him to be granted the ability to speak.
I mean, that's what he's fucking saying on this shit, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is that actually the case? Is his fucking equity in the, what is it? OTK?
That's with like 600K of equity in that company too.
Yeah, there's something that, you know, I think a big thing here, I've said this a million times. I don't know, like, does he have a company that he puts like his Twitch account in and shit like that? And is he valuing that like where it should be or no?
I don't know. We're not sure about that one.
Because like,
maybe he'll start
who owns
reacting.
the Twitch account? Who owns the
just say,
YouTube
I'm lying
account?
because,
et cetera, et cetera.
He must assume I know some extra information that, you know, I'm just not reporting on, but I would love for him to explain that. I would love it. I would truly welcome the opportunity. So as we keep going down right now, when it comes to OTK Media, there we go right there. 480,000 Class B stocks. Now I know this balance of $1,000 is not negative to Nick.
They said he don't value his private bank accounts. Yeah, I saw there were X's in the columns. Maybe because he thinks that's just off the table or something.
For the credit card, but I really want to talk about the shares, the OTK Inc., the Class B common stock shares. He proposes that he transfer 50% of the shares in OTK to Malena. Is that fair? Is that what she wants? And him to be the constructive trustee for Malena's 50% share until the transfer is completed. Now, I think that's going to happen because everything surrounding OTK been very, very sketchy in court docs. Like, I don't know if she knows who owns what, who the owners are. Where is Mizkiff play into this whole thing or not? Don't know. Now, as far as King Forge or King Gaming Labs, which is Star Forge system, he owns roughly 93,000 and all shares to be sold, proceeds, net of taxes to be divided between the parties. What if she doesn't want to sell her shares of King Gaming Labs? What if she wants to keep them? You see how like decisions are, he's recommended this decision. Was she on a board with it? Because what they could have agreed to was a partial settlement. Like, hey, judge, we agree on this, and this, and not that, and that. Well, it looks like there was no.
I mean, if they agreed on something, it's my guess is even a divorce court, then this is going to be like a mutually submitted thing where both parties are petitioning the court for the settlement agreement, or they're going to claim that it's not going to be individually submitted things. Because if it's individually submitted by each side, then it's going to be for the judge to consider, right?
Partial settlement entered. They don't agree on anything from what it looks like.
Also, IME for video people are very forgiving of visuals. Generally, audio is way more important. I do agree with that, especially as I pay attention more to everything. Like that World War event looked a little janky. I don't want to be mean. But I don't think they were having audio issues, so it was fine. Not this.
Do you have any other questions for me? Not right now.
Oh, actually, I'm curious. Hold on.
All right.
Like this camera is off balance. You can see the line. Like if you had the grid on that camera, you could see that the shot's not lined up.
Particularly minimize.
I also feel like this is too back. It needs to be zoomed in more, I think. Right? Like typically you want to capture like the shoulders and everything should be larger. And like this is all too much on the bottom. Although some of this might be taste as well. I've read a lot of different stuff on this and I do different things on it.
They just want to see their children. And if you ask Anna, it doesn't exist. But if you ask any man, like everybody knows somebody that it's happened to. And commentators can, they can try to minimize it. They can talk from their ivory towers and pretend it's not happening, but there's a genocide of millions of men that's going on in this country.
You use a genocide?
I was going to say.
One.
They must be running, when they're recording, they must be running all the mics into our speakers here because you can hear a lot of echo. But it's clear, there's not like any noise, which is the most important thing. There's not noise. It's not like pan to one side or something stupid.
6 million.
I'm so curious what professionals that set these events up think about just lapel micing everybody. Because I feel Anna here has a lot of experience speaking into microphone. Seems like she's doing it well. But like Pearl's mic is like all over the place. Like if you have somebody with like my mic here is probably a bit more directional than an SM58. Maybe. The SM58s are pretty directional. But like when you're moving them everywhere, I wonder if people are just like, fuck it, we're just going to lapel mic everybody. This is fucking retarded. Destiny's preferred. People don't know how to hold microphones. Yeah, nobody, unless you're like a streamer, like nobody has the understanding. I'm curious if people say, here's a lapel mic. Take it.
So as you keep going down, retired benefits is none in either's name. Health savings account, none. He likely had to liquidate him if he had him. Keep going down. He's going to request he keeps the GTR.
I just don't. It would be so hard to hide money in the streamer world. Like, everything is digital. You're getting paid through digital platforms. You're never dealing with cash. Like, even for buying crypto, like, where is that money getting funneled to? Unless you're getting paid in crypto, then maybe you could.
And he has it valued at $100,000. Is it valued more? Who knows? Household furnishings, obviously they're going to keep their own, but let's get down to the real stuff. The Pokemon card collection, the Magic the Gathering card collection. What's going to happen in that? Well, he's hoping that the parties to divide in kind. 50-50. Hey, hey, let's just go through the cards 50-50. I'm not sure how that works. What if she doesn't want to keep the cards? This is where
she cuts all of them in half.
It gets murky. Like, we got cards. Now the judge can be like, you know what? Let's come back, and y'all pick out which cards you want. I doubt that'll happen. Probably be auctioned off and y'all split the proceeds. Club memberships, none, or they keep the clubs in their name. They keep those. Safety deposit boxes, none, no. Jesus Christ. That's where the money at, right? I don't got no safety deposit box. Okay. He's recommending that they keep their own social media accounts. This was another thing that I thought was sketchy as shit. Like, look, he wants people to believe that he only has $22,000 in cryptocurrency. You got me. I don't know about that, man. I don't know about that. Interesting.
Dude, keep your social media accounts.
Wait, come on, guys,
if
do you really
fucking
think
Malena's team doesn't pick up on that, that's like such a fucking L. I'm just gonna say it right now. Dang. Like, I would push so fucking hard on that. Wouldn't you?
Only have
if you were.
We've had this conversation
Malena?
50 times, Dan. I don't know what
I'm
else to
saying
say.
if you were a woman, would you push
No,
on
I
it?
wouldn't care. I don't think they have any value. I know you think they have a ton of value. I don't.
You're
We have a. I know.
delusional.
Yes, I understand.
Give me your YouTube channel.
Okay.
$2,000 in cryptocurrency? As long as cryptocurrency's been around, friends with XQC. Now, here's the thing. Some people will argue that putting your money in cryptocurrency can.
Was that his video? The fuck was that?
Cryptocurrency's been around, friends with XQC. Now, here's the thing. Some people will argue that putting your money in crypto.
Is the SM58 just the standard issue microphone that's used everywhere? Yeah, it's it is the go-to. I think it's the same pattern as the 57, but there's like a ball thing or something on the top that changes a little bit. But the SM58 is just a standard Shure mic. It's cheap, probably $90, $100. You can probably buy it used or rent them from everywhere. It's just a great, good microphone. Yeah.
Cryptocurrency can hide stuff. I'm not saying he's doing that.
Yeah, it's indestructible. You record a huge variety of stuff with it, instruments, everything else. Like, yeah, probably every single video audio person has like a few of these, owns a few of these, has worked with them in the past. It's a super standard microphone.
But Jesus Christ, man, 22,000 maybe. Now we keep going down the list. I guess he has a Chase Sapphire card with $27,000, which he's going to eat, and the lawyer fees of which he owes, he's going to eat as well. Now, what gets, I guess, she has her lawyer fees of $15,000. How do you want to calculate for that? Who knows? But
I'm sorry. Hold on. I'm trying not to kill myself. She's only paid $15,000 in lawyer fees after a year, whatever, plus of litigating this and going through all the are there fees that she's paying to other people? There's no world where it was just $15K. No, am I crazy?
What gets petty to me is not this. It's the fact that this is what he's offering her, right? So he's offering her a settlement of $830,000 right here. This is what he's offering. But there is a $440,000 error in his favor, which brings him walking away with $1.2 million and her walking away with $830,000. If y'all think that's fair, who knows? Also, he's accusing her of wasting $43,000 wasted. Community funds, I'm not sure what she wasted funds on, but there goes the settlement. Now, what gets petty, right, is this in the end. He wants her, he's requesting for attorney fees from her, right? $15,000 to be paid to him. Now, you have to think about this. Think long and critical, right? You have a judge who is literally making roughly $175,000, right? So your judge that's looking over this is making $175,000. And you have this guy who has more than this judge's salary in a bank account sitting doing nothing, going to decide if his soon-to-be ex-wife should pay him back $15,000 of his attorney fees. I think this is going to get denied outright. I don't think the judge is going to do this. Also, going forward, he wants to keep his YouTube, Twitch accounts, which I looked into. They were acquired before marriage. So I see no issue in that. I don't see no issue in that. And that is their whole divorce settlement. Now, how this is going to play out, I have no idea. Will the judge grant him what he wants? Probably not. Probably not completely. Not with this $440,000 error. Will he resubmit with new information? Maybe. But that's God knows. Now, in closing, right? If you want to see the whole spreadsheets, I'll post them at the end of this. But I did want to say a couple things in closing.
Henry!
This. I'm sure Nick is watching right now and he's experiencing all sorts of emotion. But I want to go back to your comment about me having a daughter and I should be embarrassed. My daughter gives me something that you have yet to experience. She brings me pure happiness. She's 5 years old and can care less about my viewership. Remember, this is a hobby of mine. Okay? Despite you being worth over millions and having access to way more views than I would ever have going live, at the end of the day, I am going to go back to my 9 to 5. But I would take my 9 to 5 and my daughter's love every time over being some pathetic, miserable millionaire who spends his free time checking X and LSF and 4chan for what people are saying about him that's most likely true. Then spend time trying to figure out how I can remove that from online. Your whole purpose right now is monitoring your online.
Imagine bragging about engaging in what is probably the biggest level of degenerate cuckoldry that any man can participate in. You spend your entire life. I'm sorry, I was about to 4chan green tech. Stop. Okay.
A reputation. Worrying about viewership.
Stop.
You're right.
Stop.
If I were to switch places with you, I probably would end myself because there's so much more to life than what people are saying about you on the internet, especially people that you are never met before in your life. But if you're truly going to assassinate yourself, do me one simple favor, right? Do me one favor if you're going to do it, right? Don't announce it, just bounce.
Do you think it's kind of gross that Nick's friends are going to court and retelling it on Twitch when Malena left the internet? Yeah, all of the stuff with the court stuff and the public stuff is all kind of, it's so weird because so much of our internet income is like also related to our reputations and everything else. So yeah, it's kind of weird. Publicly traded stocks funds. I wish I could see like what this exhibit was. There's no way this is the totality of their assets. It must just be the things that they agreed. Property division spreadsheet. There's just no way. I can't believe it. I can't believe that. It's property division. There's no way. But maybe? I'm just trying to think what they spend their money on. Unless they go out on a ton of trips or buying a ton of cards. Not cards, sorry, cars. I just heard Pokemon cards.